What happens when a child doesn't get what they want? An epic temper tantrum. Ocasio-Cortez, she just showed us that. Folks, I'm Carmine Sabia, and this is Explain America. Please make sure you like, you comment, you share, and you subscribe. All those things really help us out and help our channel to grow. Folks, yesterday, a judge made a ruling on the abortion drug mifepristone, and he halted the FDA approval on this drug. Now, he gave the Justice Department and the FDA 7 days to respond, so he stayed his own ruling. Ocasio-Cortez was beside herself, her and several Democrats. It was actually hard to watch. It was so sad, but at the same time, it was kind of comical. So these people who have been shouting from the rooftops, nobody's above the law. We must respect the rule of law. We must respect the justice system. You're never going to believe what she said, and it inadvertently helps Donald Trump. Let's take a look.
There has been thought, I believe, given to this. Senator Ron Wyden has already issued statements, for example, advising what we should do in a situation like this, which I concur, which is that I believe that the Biden administration should ignore this ruling. I think that the courts have the legitimacy and they rely on the legitimacy of their rulings. And what they are currently doing is engaged in an unprecedented and dramatic erosion of the legitimacy of the courts. It is the justices themselves, through the deeply partisan and unfounded nature of these rulings, that are undermining their own enforcement.
So you're saying the Biden administration should ignore this court, but what does that look like? What does that actually mean?
You know, I think the interesting thing when it comes to a ruling is that it relies on enforcement. And it is up to the Biden administration to choose whether or not to enforce such a ruling.
But is that...
Now, apparently, and I didn't know this, but apparently in Ocasio-Cortez world, if you don't like the ruling of a judge, you just ignore it. You just ignore it. That's all you have to do. So if, for some reason, former President Donald Trump is convicted of these ridiculous charges against him in New York, apparently he could just ignore the ruling. He didn't like it. And if you don't like it, you ignore it. If that's the standard we're setting, folks, then that's the standard. And that seems to be what she and other Democrats are calling for. We didn't like the judge's decision, which means we didn't like the court's decision. If we didn't like the court's decision, well, we ignore it. That's just going to be how it is. We just ignore the court's decisions now. So it is amazing to me that people who parade around talking about the rule of law, talking about nobody is above the law, talking about how the law has to apply to everybody. Soon as the law comes out with a decision they don't like, that's it. Bye-bye law. We're just not going to pay attention to the law. Imagine, if you will, if somebody said, we're just not going to allow gay marriages in our state. We don't care what the Supreme Court said. What's the enforcement mechanism? There is none. The enforcement mechanism is that you go along with what they say. There is no actual enforcement mechanism. So, you know, they could ignore it, and there's really not much we could do, but then that sets off a whole new chain of events in which people just start ignoring rulings they don't like, and the whole system of justice melts down. But, you know, don't really think Ocasio-Cortez thinks that far ahead. I don't think she thinks further ahead than left foot, right foot, right foot. So, there you have it, folks. Again, I'm Carmine Sabia. This is Explain America. We love you guys. God bless you. Take care, everybody.